Good morning, traders. How are we all doing today? What a day it's going to be on the overall market. So, as usual, we're going to be going over the foreign markets first, going into the big holders in the S&P and how they're moving pre-market. So, without further ado, let's get into it. So, Asian markets end up closing on the higher side today. Nice bullish engulfing candle right there. So, we end up closing at 17,668, which was not a bad level at all. Got some overhead resistance at 17,720, so we gotta see if we end up crossing that or not. But overall, bullish in the Asian markets. German markets are currently open right now, so German markets are looking like that they're gapping up so far. A little bit of hesitation right now at this resistance level at 15,210. So we'll see how that ends up playing out until close. Don't forget that the German markets are about 7 hours ahead, I believe. Then, as you know, probably Asian markets are 12 hours, and then British markets are 5 hours. And then, last but not least, the British markets. Let's see how they're moving today. So far, so good. They're going into a rally. So I'd say overall consensus that we can expect to see a rally on the S&P. It seems like the Asian, the German, and the British markets are all in agreement that a more of a bullish movement is in book for today, and we'll just see how the pre-market levels are playing out on SPY and all the big holders. So first we got Tesla right here. So Tesla right now is going for 216.10. So the big thing to watch today on Tesla is going to be this 208 support level to the 243 resistance. Now, if you're looking for a intraday resistance point, then I would watch the 217 level would be a major area. As you can see here, resistance, 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 support. Major area to watch right there. So I've watched 217, and what I'll do is, like I've been doing, I have to admit I've not been consistent in doing it, so we'll go back to putting the levels I'm watching in yellow. So that one's going to be turning yellow as an area I'm watching. This one's going to get turned to yellow. It's an area I'm watching. So the big thing to watch today is the range between 208 and 216. If we end up breaking down this 216 and it acts as a support, then expect to move to 221 to come quite fast. Mark that out. Oh, didn't go in. There we go. So we're going to mark out 221. So it's going to be the big thing to watch for Tesla for today is watch 208, 216.58, and then 221. On Microsoft, let's see how that's playing out. So Microsoft so far is going to the upside, treating 346 as support, trying to make a move to 351. Now, if we get a rally, it would just say 351 hypothetically breaks down. If 351 breaks down and treats us as support, then all-time highs will come quite soon. I mean, you got some levels here, so I would say watch 359.57, more like 359, but watch 359 as a level. So if 351 breaks down, then I would expect to move to 359. Then if we break that down, I'm bullish. On a bullish engulfing candle, we close out the weekly candle bullish, daily bullish. Then I would expect all-time highs to come soon from Microsoft. Apple, let's see what we're at with Apple. I know that they beat earnings, but guidance was poor. So right now we are at 171.80 on Apple. So watch 168 support, watch 179 resistance. If 168 ends up holding up, then the big thing is going to show that Apple's pretty strong and that it's resilient and that most likely it's going to head upwards. I think it's a big overreaction on the guidance, personally. That's just what I think. I think overall, Apple's a great company. They beat earnings. Guidance may be a little bit poor, but I think overall, in the long run, it's going to work out nicely for Apple. Personally, I bought how many shares did I buy? I think I bought like 16. I know it's $2,000 of shares in Apple yesterday before market close. I wasn't really worried if they missed earnings, beat earnings. I think it's overall a great company, and it would just it goes down to 168. It's just a great buying opportunity overall. So I'll probably dollar cost average to Apple because overall in the long run, Apple's operating at a discount in terms of price. Obviously, they're worth a lot more, probably in the 200 range, but that's just my personal opinion. Just let the price action and earnings to dictate of whether or not you think that or not. But we're going to go over to NVIDIA. So the big thing to watch on NVIDIA is going to be that 431 support level. If we break up to the upside off of 431, it still treats as support. Then watch 468 as a level. Now, in the morning, we're going to watch 437. I think that's going to be a critical level to watch, as you can see on the chart. I'll show you in just a second. Act as support, resistance, 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 resistance. Resistance kind of right here. I mean, you could say, hypothetically, that's more of 436, but it's within the general realm of the area. So I would watch this range right here. If you break 437.06 to the upside, then 468 would come quite fast. Now, if we end up breaking down 431 to the downside, then watch move down to 405 would be a great spot to buy some calls. Personally, that's what I think. But you can play this either way. Let the price action dictate what you do with it. Next one we're going to be watching is SPY. And by the way, I don't know if I said in yesterday's video, I'm all out of AMD. I sold out at 105. So I'm all out of AMD at the moment. So the big level to watch on SPY is going to be 425. As you can see, support, resistance, resistance, support, support, support. Big level. 425 is a huge level. 433, as you can see here, a lot of support, a lot of resistance. Same with 437 to 440. If we end up getting that rally that it looks like that we're going to get according to the foreign markets, then expect 433 and possibly even 437. Who knows? It could go up. I mean, we've seen it a couple of times where SPY has dropped by $10. It doesn't mean that SPY can't go up by $10 either. So if we end up breaking to the upside, watch 433, 437, and 440. If we break to the downside, watch 425, 422. I think that's highly unlikely. If we do drop to the downside, I would watch this 200 EMA. We're coming across the 200 EMA right now. As you can see, a lot of the bearish price action happens when you cross this 200 EMA. So you're down below it here. You're down below here, massive move down. You're up above it again. But usually what you end up getting is, you can see here that the S&P just rode that 200 EMA all the way upward, crossed over, came, broke it, went downward, created a double bottom type formation, and then went to the upside, crossed over to the bearish side, and then we're crossing over to the bull side. So I would keep it. I think it might be a little bit overextended, so I would watch for a retracement down to 427.57, and then for a move to the upside from there. That's personally what I think. Because let's just say that hypothetically we open at 429.97 today, and we go to the daily. Where that's going to be is roughly around there. And keep in mind, you still have to fill this gap eventually. So even if we do push way upward, I really do think that we're going to push downwards back down to 422. At some point we have to, and whether or not it's going to be when we hit all-time highs or not, it's going to get ugly and I'm not going to turn too bullish until we fill this gap. Personally, this is what I think. But like I always say, let the price action dictate what you do. But that's what I'm watching for today on the tickers. Now, in terms of economic news today, we do have ISM services, I believe, at 10 o'clock. And we have 9:45 U.S. services PMI. We also have unemployment and non-farm payrolls at 8:30, which is a big thing. We have some Fed members speaking, but I would really just watch until 10 o'clock. I made the mistake yesterday. I traded before 10 o'clock and I missed that big rally, but it is what it is. You learn your lessons and move on from it. But anyways, traders, good luck out there.